I researched around the web and found many things in Minecraft that you probably have not noticed or never thought about doing. Getting right into the first thing, which is something pretty unusual. Did you know that you can actually create vertical slabs in vanilla Minecraft? You will just need to use some walls, redstone blocks and a bit of TNT. First, dig a small hole and fill it up with water. Then add some walls above the water and place down some redstone blocks, like this. Now just add the TNT between the walls and the redstone blocks. Let the TNT blow up and boom! Literally, you have vertical slabs, easy as that. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Don't you hate it when you want to quickly see your chunk borders or the exact durability of an item, but you can't remember the F3 shortcut? Well, there's an easy fix for that. Just remember the F3+Q shortcut, and you will see all the different F3 shortcuts pop up in your chat. This way you can just remember one shortcut and you can see all the other ones. This can save your time by not having to Google each one. Most of us know that to get the mob heads, a charged creeper has to blow up the mob. These heads can be used as a pretty cool decoration block, but did you know that these mob heads also have a practical use? Wearing the corresponding mob head reduces the detection range for skeletons, creepers and zombies up to 50% of the normal range. That means the mobs won't be able to spot and attack you from far away. This effect can also be stacked with sneaking or invisibility potion to reduce the detection range even more. This mechanic can be really useful when caving or building mob farms, for example. Now a cool redstone tip. By using walls, you can instantly send a long vertical redstone signal. Just build a line of wall however long you want and use a sticky piston at the top with another wall to force a block update to the bottom. Place an observer at the bottom to register the block update and also build a simple D flip-flop to turn the signal pulse into a lasting signal. This can be super useful if you want to power something down in the caves while being on the ground yourself. I will now show you how to hide some redstone in plain sight. For that you will need some item frames and maps. Just place down your redstone wire and on top of that add the item frames. And in the item frames themselves add the custom colored maps. It will work the best if the whole floor of your building is made out of item frames and maps. That way you won't be able to tell the difference between a covered up redstone and a regular floor. The trick can be useful when you don't have any room to build the redstone elsewhere, for example. But now an awesome building tip. By using trapdoors and ladders, you can create something like this by putting trapdoors and ladders one by one. It resembles a rope ladder and can be climbed on both sides. A cool way to get into a treehouse, for example. By holding the Alt key when selecting a word type in the settings, you can actually unlock the debug world. When entering, you can see that it's just not the regular Minecraft world. The world displays all the different states of all the blocks in the game. It's most of the time just used for debugging for developers, but nevertheless a cool world to check out and something you might have not known about. I know most of us hate the auto jump feature in Minecraft, and I personally turn it off as soon as possible when creating a new Minecraft instance. But did you know that the annoying feature can actually be pretty useful in some situations? Let me explain. By having the auto jump enabled, you can run up the stairs much faster than without it. Here is a visual representation of that. As you can see, using auto jump is much quicker, especially for longer distances. It can become really handy when running from another player or when you just don't want to wait 3 hours to get up from your deep cave. So next time when rushing to disable it, maybe take this into the consideration. Next up, let's take a look at an awesome block that some people might not know about, and that's lodestone. Lodestone can be paired with a compass and they kinda act like waypoints in your full vanilla game. Just place down the lodestone in your base for example, and right click it with a compass. The compass is now paired with this particular lodestone, and it will direct you back towards the lodestone. This can be also used in the end or the nether. Only requirement is that the lodestone is in the same dimension as the player, or that the lodestone is not broken, otherwise it will stop working. Did you know that the prismarine blocks are actually color changing? It might not seem like it when you first take a look, because the color change is just that slow. But when you speed up the clip, you can easily see that the blocks are indeed slowly changing its color. So next time when you find the ocean monument, take a look at the prismarine blocks, and you might as well notice a little change over time. A pretty unique Easter egg if you ask me. Minecraft 1.17 introduces many different new blocks and features, some of them even being pretty cool and unique. One of the new blocks that was introduced in 1.17 is the powdered snow block. At first, it just seems like an interesting feature to make the exploring of snowy biomes more of a challenge. But the new block also has some practical uses. For example, when building a stairway, you can use the powdered snow as a temporary block. So when going up, you can use it here, and you can place another block like this. Or when you just want to build straight up, you can do so with only 2 powdered snow blocks. So you can just keep on stacking them on top of each other. This little tip can hopefully be handy in some situations. Chefen, who is the Minecraft's lead creative designer, actually confirmed in a Q&A that the name Shulker came from 2 words, shell and lurker, which makes sense if you think about it, since the shulker lurks in its shell. But now let's talk about something called local difficulty. You can see your local difficulty right here on the F3 screen. This number determines the difficulty in an area around you. The longer you stay in that area, the harder the difficulty becomes. This means that the mobs who spawn here will be harder to defeat. For example, when the local difficulty is higher, phantoms will spawn more frequently, skeletons can shoot flaming arrows, and lightning strikes are more likely to spawn a skeleton trap horse. So next time when playing, keep an eye on that number. This next trick helps you find many more diamonds than just mining around. Using the lapis lazuli ores, you can easily locate the position of the diamond ores. Just go 4 blocks north from the lapis ores and dig down. And soon enough, you got diamonds. It might not work 100% of the times, but it's mostly pretty reliable. Also, when you come across a chunk border while counting the blocks, continue the counting on the opposite side of the same chunk. So make sure not to leave the chunk. One more side note. When counting the blocks and the 3rd or a 4th block appears to be next to the chunk border, check both sides of the chunk. The diamonds might be on either side. Nonetheless, a super easy way to find lots of diamonds. Did you know that you can get red dye just from the beetroot? There is no need to go and find the poppies anymore. You can just farm the beetroot right in your base. The lime dye also looks pretty nice, but can be hard to find and craft sometimes. Luckily, you can also use the sea pickles. Just melt them in your furnace and you get some lime dye. Easy as that. And when you happen to have too much fun with your new dyes and mess something up, know that you can use cauldrons to rinse off the dye of your armor or shulker boxes, so don't worry about coloring those. Fossils are rare skeletal structures made out of bone blocks. They are randomly generated in Y coordinates 40 to 49 in the deserts and swamps. There are 8 different types of fossils, and each chunk only has a 1 out of 64 chance to generate a fossil, so these are pretty rare. So next time when you see one, make sure to dig it out. Here's a quick tip when transporting mobs around. If you don't want to waste your material and time on building the powered railway, you can just use the regular railway and use this trick to transport yourself or some mobs. To do this trick, just place a boat on the rails and push a minecart into it. They will glitch into each other and just keep on moving forward forever. That way you don't have to waste your time powering long railways. We all know that with a Frostwalker enchantment you can easily walk on water. And that's pretty cool by itself. But there's also another use for this enchantment. You can also walk on magma blocks without getting damaged. This feature comes really handy when building huge gold farms, for example. It lets you walk on the magma platforms without having to hold down the shift for long periods of time. Here you go, I just saved your pinky. Those were 20 of my favorite tips, and if you wanna see some more videos similar to this, click right here and maybe consider subscribing. Until next time, see ya!